Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. A new Chicago Med update rules out a fan-favorite character returning for the Season 10 finale, and that's a bummer. I'm disappointed by the latest Chicago Med update, which completely rules out any chance of a certain fan-favorite character returning. Chicago Med Season 10 introduced new characters and stories as Alan McDonald took over the EP duties. However, McDonald promised that some former characters would return, and has already made good on that promise by featuring Sarah Reese, Rachel DePillo, in 2 episodes earlier in the season. However, that is the only return so far. There are several former Chicago Med characters who need to return, and a new update confirms that several will make cameo appearances in the Season 10 final. I'm hoping for appearances from several favorite characters, especially Crockett Marcel, Dominique Rains, Will Halstead, Nick Gelfus, and April Sexton, Yaya DaCosta. Sadly, the latest news suggests that one of these characters will not be returning, which is disappointing despite the excitement around all the other returns. Chicago Med Season 10 will end with several cliffhangers that are intended to keep the audience talking over the summer, according to showrunner Alan McDonald via TV Line. McDonald promises intense stories for Goodwin S. Epatha Murkerson and Charles Oliver Platt, who will both have to face their demons and deal with dark pasts. Additionally, McDonald promises that there will be some unexpected faces returning. Thus, it sounds like he plans to make good on his promise to include more former characters during the season finale. This cryptic comment doesn't share much about who is returning or for how long. While it is possible that some characters will return for Chicago Med Season 11, it's more likely that departed characters are returning for cameo visits. This would make sense if Goodwin or Charles is in a precarious position, as their former mentees might want to come to Gaffney to support them through whatever crisis they are dealing with. That said, since there will be strong cliffhangers, it's possible some old characters will be featured in the Season 11 premiere. Unfortunately, April Sexton is one character who is not returning in Chicago Med Season 10 final. Although she is a fan favorite, actress Yaya DaCosta recently said that she doesn't see herself coming back to Chicago Med. Although DaCosta is grateful that audiences still want her to return, she believes that her last appearance in Chicago Med Season 8 tied up loose ends and gave April a proper exit, and thus she doesn't expect to return. DaCosta is also moving on to other projects, making a return more logistically difficult. It's clear that DaCosta was not asked back for the finale since she is speaking hypothetically. However, the silver lining is that it sounds like DaCosta would be willing to return if the writers found a story for her. Her comments about not doing so were storyline-driven, so it's possible that DaCosta could again appear as April in a future episode, though she will not have a cameo this time. This is especially disappointing because Maggie has had a rough time this season and could use a chat with April, who she was close to when April worked at Gaffney. Many former Chicago Med cast members have left the series over its 10-year run, so there are several possible returns, especially since McDonald's comments suggest that more than one character will be returning. That said, the most likely returns would be Marcel or Halstead, as these characters left during the last 2 years and are always on the top of fan lists of people who they want to come back to the series. Marcel's return would be especially poignant, considering the character left because of his trauma after 2 patients died. Marcel's return would make up for his lackluster One Chicago Universe exit. Conversely, Chicago Med could reach further back for returning characters. Colin Donnell's Connor Rhodes hasn't been seen since Season 4, so it's possible that the medical drama would invite him back. This would make the most sense if Halstead also returns, as the two worked together for 4 years. Med could also go for more obscure characters such as Joey, the pathologist that once dated Reese, but at this point there is no clear reason to do so, especially since this was a minor role that not everyone will remember. The halls of Gaffney Chicago Medical Center have seen their fair share of heartbreak, hope, and high-stakes drama over the past 10 seasons, but fans were holding out hope for at least one bright spot as the milestone Season 10 finale approaches. Unfortunately, a recent update from the Chicago Med production team has confirmed what many were dreading. Dr. Connor Rhodes will not be making a return for the finale. And honestly, that's a bummer. Played by the magnetic Colin Donnell, Dr. Rhodes was a core part of the show's golden years. From his elite surgical skills to his complicated personal life, who could forget Ava Becker? Connor was the kind of character who felt like the heartbeat of the hospital. He was the guy you wanted on your side in an operating room, and maybe, in some moments, the guy you secretly shipped with just about everyone. His sudden exit back in Season 5 left a gaping hole in the Chicago Med fabric that has never quite been patched over. So when whispers started swirling that Season 10 might bring him back, just for a cameo, a quick scrub-in, maybe even a last-minute save-the-day moment, fans dared to hope. But now, it's official. Connor's not coming back, and the timing couldn't be more crushing. NBC recently released a statement clarifying that while the Season 10 finale will feature exciting full-circle moments and special nods to the show's journey so far, Colin Donnell is not among the confirmed returning cast members. In fact, it seems like the writers decided to focus on the current ensemble and lay the groundwork for future seasons, rather than dipping too far into the past. Cue the collective groan from longtime fans. This isn't just about missing a fan-favorite face. It's about the feeling that came with watching Connor Rhodes in action. He brought a gravitas to the surgical scenes that made you believe in the miracle of medicine, even when things got a little too soapy. And let's be honest, we love a little soap. He was flawed, passionate, brilliant, and often reckless. Everything you want in a drama series doctor. And after his storyline ended in tragedy and uncertainty, it always felt like we deserved some kind of closure. Our return in the finale could have given us that. Imagine it. Will Halstead, Ethan Choi, and Connor Rhodes standing in the OR together one last time. Maybe Connor pops in for a surprise consultation, fresh from a stint overseas. Maybe he's got a new outlook, a new love interest, or is he still mourning Ava, and he's there to help with a once-in-a-lifetime case. Maybe he even walks the halls with Sharon Goodwin, reminiscing about how far they've all come since those early days. Fans would have eaten it up, and maybe cried into their popcorn while they were at it. Instead, we're left with a door firmly closed. It's not that Chicago Med isn't still delivering. The show has managed to reinvent itself time and again, introducing compelling new characters like Dr. Crockett Marcel and Dr. Hannah Asher. And to be fair, the writing in Season 10 has been solid, emotional, fast-paced, and full of medical conundrums that keep us glued to our screens. But there's something bittersweet about crossing the Season 10 finish line without a nod to one of the show's original MVPs. Colin Donnell himself has remained gracious, taking to social media to thank fans for their continued support and love. He hasn't ruled out a return forever, but he made it clear that he won't be appearing in the upcoming final. Some fans are speculating that the actor's current projects and scheduling conflicts made it impossible, while others wonder if the showrunners simply chose not to revisit his arc at this time. Still, the absence stings. In a franchise like One Chicago, where crossover episodes and surprise returns are part of the charm, the lack of Connor in this milestone moment feels like a missed opportunity, especially since we have seen other familiar faces resurface from time to time, like April Sexton and even a brief mention of Natalie Manning. So why not give Connor his curtain call? As we gear up for what promises to be a dramatic and emotionally charged finale, fans will no doubt be watching with mixed feelings. There's excitement, sure. There's gratitude for 10 years of heart-pounding, heart-healing storytelling, but there's also a lingering ache for what could have been. A glimpse of a beloved character stepping back into the story, even if just for a moment. So here's to you, Dr. Connor Rhodes. We still remember the way you defied odds in surgery, the way you challenged protocol, and the way you always fought for your patients, even when it cost you. You may not be in the Season 10 finale, but you'll always be in the hearts of Chicago Med fans.